He left her for being fat and ugly. Now a millionaire is on his knees begging to marry her. Hi, dear friends. If you've ever been judged for your appearance or felt discarded by someone who once promised to love you forever, this story is for you. Today, we follow Emily, a nurse whose world fell apart when her husband left her for being fat and ugly. But what he didn't know was that she would rise from that pain stronger, more radiant, and loved by someone far greater. So grab a warm drink, get cozy, and let's begin this unforgettable journey of heartbreak, healing, and ultimate redemption. Emily had always been a gentle, devoted woman who gave everything to the people she loved. After graduating from nursing school, she married Ryan, a software engineer full of ambition but still struggling to find his breakthrough. Life had never been easy for them. For 3 years, they lived in a small rented apartment on the outskirts of the city, scraping by month to month, but holding on to the hope that one day their hard work would finally pay off. Emily was resilient. She worked night shifts at the hospital, always smiling at patients even when she was utterly exhausted. Each time she came home, she found Ryan sitting at his laptop, eyes focused, typing lines of code with unwavering determination. She believed in him, and more than that, she believed that love, when genuine, could carry them through the darkest of times. Ryan had once been the kind of man any woman would admire, intelligent, calm, and caring. But the weight of repeated failures, financial strain, and growing frustration slowly changed him. He became distant, more withdrawn, and less affectionate. Emily noticed the change, but she held on. She held his hand every night, whispering encouragement. "We're going to be okay, just a little longer." Then one day, Ryan received an email, an invitation to a private meeting with a major tech investment firm. It was the kind of opportunity that could change their lives forever. He kissed Emily on the forehead that morning, his face finally lit up by a rare smile. "Maybe this time, everything will be different," he said. Emily watched him walk out the door with her heart full of hope. What she didn't know was that morning would mark the end of everything she knew. From that moment on, nothing in her world would ever be the same. 3 days had passed since that morning. Emily waited patiently for news from Ryan. She texted, called, even left voicemails, but his phone never rang. She tried to reassure herself. He's probably busy. Maybe the meeting is long or there's no signal. But deep down, a knot of anxiety kept growing tighter with every passing hour. On the 4th day, Emily took a leave from her shift and decided to go directly to the company where Ryan said the meeting would take place. But the receptionist told her there was no appointment under his name. Worry turned to confusion. Had Ryan lied to her? Or had something terrible happened? That evening, as she sat helplessly in their silent apartment, a friend of Ryan's called her. "Emily, are you okay?" the voice on the other end asked hesitantly. "I just saw Ryan. He's at the Paramount Hotel with a young woman." Emily's heart dropped. She grabbed her coat and rushed out of the house without thinking. The Paramount was an upscale hotel, frequented only by the wealthy. How could Ryan possibly be staying there? When she arrived, her heart pounded wildly. She stepped into the grand lobby, eyes scanning the room. And then she saw him. Ryan stood in the middle of the hotel lounge, wearing an expensive suit, hair slicked back, a smug smile spread across his face. But it wasn't his appearance that made Emily freeze, it was the woman holding his arm. A young, stunning woman, dressed provocatively, radiating beauty and confidence. The world tilted beneath Emily's feet. She marched toward them, her voice shaking with fury. "Ryan? What's going on? I've been calling you for days. What about the meeting? Did you get the contract? And who is she?" Before Ryan could respond, the woman scoffed. "I'm Chloe, his fiancée. He doesn't have time for fat nurses like you anymore." Emily felt the breath knocked out of her. Her face went pale, throat tightening. "You're leaving me because I'm fat?" she whispered, tears spilling from her eyes. Ryan didn't meet her gaze. "I don't love you anymore, Emily. Just let it go. I'll send you some money. My lawyer will bring the divorce papers. Sign them." Emily stood frozen as Chloe pulled Ryan away, wearing a look of triumph. Her world, everything she believed in, collapsed in a single, shattering moment. Emily stood frozen in the middle of the hotel lobby as if the world had stopped spinning. Ryan's words echoed in her mind. "I don't love you anymore. Sign the divorce papers." She couldn't believe what she'd heard. The man who once promised forever, the man who shared the darkest days with her, now discarded her like something worthless. Her chest tightened, and everything inside her broke at once. She turned and rushed out of the hotel, tears pouring down her face. The cold night wind slapped against her skin like punishment. She collapsed onto the steps outside, not caring who saw. Her heart had just been shattered by the man she loved the most. Memories crashed over her. The times she split her meals so Ryan would have lunch money. The nights she stayed up caring for patients but still came home to cook for him. The countless times she swallowed her own pain to encourage him not to give up. All of it suddenly meaningless. She sobbed, unable to breathe. "Why?" she whispered. "Why would he do this to me?" Just then, a voice came from nearby. "Emily, is that really you?" She looked up, her tear-filled eyes meeting a familiar face. For a second, she couldn't speak. "Liam?" she whispered. There he stood, elegant in a tailored suit, every feature sharp yet familiar. It was her childhood friend, her classmate from middle school. Emily hadn't seen Liam in nearly 10 years, not since he went abroad to study. Liam walked toward her, concern written across his face. "I can't believe it's really you. I saw what happened just now. Are you okay?" Emily forced a weak smile, though the tears didn't stop. "I'm fine. I'll be fine." Liam sat beside her, silent for a moment before speaking gently. "You don't have to pretend, Emily. I saw the pain in your eyes. You didn't deserve that." Emily dropped her head, unable to hold it in any longer. She told Liam everything, about Ryan's sudden disappearance, about Chloe, and the cruel words that had broken her spirit. Liam listened without interrupting. When she finished, he clenched his jaw, his face darkening. "You know, I was the one who approved that tech investment deal. I signed off on the very project Ryan used to betray you." Emily stared at him in shock. "You gave him that opportunity?" Liam nodded solemnly. "And I can't forgive myself for unknowingly giving power to someone who used it to hurt you. But now, I want to be the one who helps you get back up." He looked at her with gentle eyes. "You don't need to go back to that apartment. Come stay at my place, as long as you need, until you're okay." Emily hesitated. "But what about your wife? How will you explain bringing a fat, broken woman into your home?" Liam chuckled, sincere. "I'm not married, and you're not broken, Emily. You're just someone starting over." For the first time in days, Emily smiled. Maybe at the bottom of all this pain, a small light had just begun to shine. Liam drove Emily away from the hotel in silence. They didn't say much during the ride, but somehow the quiet felt comforting. Emily sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window as the street lights flickered past, each one casting a shadow over the ache still lingering in her chest. Her heart was broken, but at least she wasn't alone anymore. The car pulled up in front of a grand estate in an upscale suburban neighborhood. Emily looked up at the house, tall white pillars, manicured gardens, and warm golden lights glowing from inside. She turned to Liam, unsure. "You really live here?" Liam smiled. "One of the places I live, yes, but this one feels like home." He stepped out and opened her door. "Come in. Don't hesitate. Tonight, you need a place that reminds you of your worth." Emily stepped inside. The interior was elegant. High ceilings, crystal chandeliers, art hanging tastefully on the walls. But what struck her most wasn't the wealth. It was the warmth. This place didn't feel cold or distant like the apartment she'd shared with Ryan. This felt like home. During her first few days at Liam's home, Emily barely left her room. She felt lost inside the vast, silent space. Each morning, sunlight crept in through the curtains, but even that gentle warmth couldn't convince her to get out of bed. She was no longer the woman she used to be, the nurse who smiled through exhaustion, who brought comfort to patients. Now she was just a shadow of herself, tired, broken, and unsure. Emily avoided conversations. She ate just enough to get by and often sat in silence, staring at nothing. Her mind swirled with questions she couldn't answer. Am I really that unworthy? Is love only for those who fit a certain look? Will anyone ever see who I truly am? The pain wasn't just from the betrayal, it was from the complete collapse of her self-worth. Emily would look in the mirror and not recognize the woman staring back. Dark circles under her eyes, slumped shoulders, and, above all, a heart crushed beyond recognition. Liam didn't pressure her to come out. He gave her space, gently knocking on her door sometimes to drop off food or share a funny story from their school days. He didn't offer advice or preach. He simply showed up when she needed someone. That quiet patience began to soothe the wounds inside her. Not because someone told her to get up, but because slowly she started realizing she didn't want to live like someone who'd been discarded. Maybe she wasn't ready to face the world yet, but she was beginning to believe she deserved more than just tears. One day he asked her, "Are you hungry?" Emily shook her head. "No, but I'd like to cook something. Cooking always makes me feel better." Liam raised an eyebrow. "If that helps you feel in control again, the kitchen is yours." Emily walked into the kitchen and paused in awe. It was spacious, sleek, stocked with high-end appliances and quality ingredients. As she opened a cupboard looking for a pot, her eyes landed on a thin book titled Chinese Herbal Weight Loss, My Mother's Secret. Curiously, she picked it up and flipped through the pages. Recipes for herbal teas, clean eating guides, and gentle movement routines. As she read, a voice came from behind her. "Interested in that one?" Emily turned to see Liam leaning against the doorway, a nostalgic look in his eyes. "My mother used to be severely overweight," he said. "She used that book to change her life. Now she's the healthiest and most vibrant woman I know. I'm proud of her." Emily held the book in both hands as if it held a fragile piece of hope. "Can I try it?" Liam nodded. "Not just try. If you want to go on that journey, I'll walk with you." Emily smiled, her first real smile since the betrayal. She didn't know what lay ahead, but something deep inside told her this might be the beginning of something new. The next morning, Emily woke up earlier than usual. She stood in front of the mirror, staring at herself for a long time. Her eyes were still puffy from the nights she'd spent crying, but for the first time in weeks, she felt something shifting inside. It wasn't pain. It was resolve. She walked downstairs, still holding the herbal book. She found Liam at the dining table, reading some documents. He looked up and smiled. "You're up early." She held up the book. "I want to try this, Liam, but not because of Ryan, not out of revenge. I want to do this for me." Liam set his papers aside and nodded, his eyes lighting up. "That's the best reason to begin." Together, they created a gentle plan. Herbal tea every morning using the book's recipe, light stretching and movement exercises, clean eating, and, most importantly, no more negative self-talk. Emily began journaling her journey in a little notebook. Every day, she wrote herself a new affirmation. "I deserve peace. I don't need to be perfect, just persistent." The first days were far from easy. The tea tasted strange, bitter even. Her body wasn't used to the clean, simple meals. She missed fried food, sweets, and late-night snacking. Even the gentle exercises left her sore, her muscles unused to movement. One morning, she nearly gave up. After a rough stretching session, Emily sank into a kitchen chair, drenched in sweat, panting hard. Liam walked in with 2 glasses of warm lemon water. "Rough morning?" he asked, handing her one. She nodded silently. He sat beside her, eyes kind. "I know this feeling. Starting over is always tough. But you're doing great, Emily. You might not see the change yet, but I do." Emily looked at him skeptically. "You're just saying that to make me feel better?" Liam chuckled and shook his head. "No, you have a light inside, and it's starting to shine again." Emily blushed, looking down. No one had ever said that to her before. Not "you look pretty" or "you're thinner," but "you're shining." It was a compliment that made her want to keep going, and she did. Each morning, Liam checked in on her, sometimes joining her exercises, sometimes cooking beside her. He didn't push, didn't rush. He was simply there, a quiet pillar of support. No longer just a nurse who had been abandoned, Emily was becoming a woman choosing herself again. She hadn't forgotten the past, but she was no longer letting it define her future. After weeks of commitment to her new routine, Emily began to notice the changes in her body. Her old clothes hung loosely on her frame, her face looked slimmer, and her eyes sparkled with renewed energy. But more importantly, her spirit had changed. Every morning, Emily woke up feeling alive, not just surviving. She no longer wasted time crying over Ryan, nor did she scrutinize her reflection for flaws. Instead, she focused on self-care, learning healthy recipes, reading books, practicing deep breathing, and occasionally dancing alone in her room just because it made her feel free. One afternoon, Liam entered the living room holding an elegant silver invitation. "Do you have plans for Saturday night?" he asked, a teasing smile on his face. Emily looked up from her book. "No? Why?" "I'd like you to come with me to a charity gala. It's quite a big one. A lot of important people will be there." Emily hesitated. "You want me to go there? With you? Someone like me?" Liam tilted his head and met her gaze with sincerity. "I want to go with you, not because you've changed, but because you had the courage to." Emily said nothing. In his eyes, she didn't feel like the woman who'd been left behind. She felt like someone who was being chosen for who she truly was. That evening, Emily wore a long black gown, perfectly hugging her new silhouette, a minimalist yet elegant design Liam had ordered just for her. Her hair was softly pinned up, her skin glowing, and her eyes radiated quiet strength. As she descended the staircase, Liam stood waiting, momentarily speechless. "You look stunning," he whispered. Emily smiled gently. "Thank you for everything." The gala was held in a grand historical building downtown. Warm golden lights, soft jazz music, expensive tuxedos, and glittering gowns, like a scene from a classic film. Yet even in all that elegance, Emily stood out. People looked at her not out of curiosity, but because she carried something rare, a presence that was gentle yet powerful, reserved but captivating. She moved with ease, laughed softly, and when Liam introduced her as someone special, no one questioned it. Until Ryan and Chloe arrived. Emily spotted them near the stage. Chloe looked glamorous as ever, but Ryan, he was different. His face was gaunt, his eyes tired. When their eyes met, Ryan froze. He squinted as if unsure whether what he was seeing was real. Emily, the woman he once called a fat nurse, now standing tall, elegant, radiant, unforgettable. "That's Emily?" Ryan muttered in disbelief. Chloe frowned, following his gaze. Who? Her? Who is she? She does stand out. Ryan remained frozen, mouth slightly open, unable to speak. At that moment, Emily turned away, gently took Liam's hand, and smiled as they walked deeper into the crowd, leaving Ryan standing alone in a room full of people, colder than ever before. Ryan couldn't take his eyes off Emily as she walked away with Liam. He almost didn't recognize her. Her figure, her energy, her eyes were all so different. The woman who once begged him to come back now carried herself like a queen, full of quiet confidence. But what truly struck him was the sparkling diamond ring on her left hand. A few days later, Ryan received an email requesting his presence at a special board meeting with the executives from the investment firm backing his tech project. When he arrived at headquarters, the first person he saw in the conference room was Emily. She sat at the head of the table, dressed in a crisp white suit, calm and commanding. "Emily?" he stammered. "What are you doing here?" Another voice spoke from behind him. "She's our project director." Liam entered, his expression no longer warm. "And she's also my fiancée." Ryan froze. Not only had he been left behind, now he was reporting to her. Emily calmly opened the folder in front of her. "The project you're leading has several major violations: missed deadlines, misallocated funds, and inconsistent financial reports. According to the contract, if not resolved within a month, you'll be required to repay the full investment." Ryan's palms turned clammy. "Please, just give me more time." "There were a few technical issues." Emily looked up, her gaze sharp. "It's not a technical issue, it's a responsibility issue." Liam sat beside her, folding his hands. "I once trusted you, but now this is a legal matter. If it's not resolved in 30 days, we'll pursue legal action." Ryan left the meeting, panic pressing on his chest. In the following days, he scrambled to fix everything. But funds had dried up, investors pulled out. No one wanted to back a project led by someone who lacked transparency. And Chloe started showing signs of distance. "I'm tired of this, Ryan. I didn't sign up to watch you fall apart." "It's just a rough patch," he snapped. "I just need to get through this." "No," she cut in coldly. "You have no money, no contract. I have no reason to stay." She tossed her ring on the table, packed her things, and walked out without looking back. Ryan collapsed. The woman he chose over Emily had abandoned him, just as he had once done to his wife. 2 weeks before the deadline, Ryan showed up at Emily's office. He was no longer the confident man he once was, his shirt wrinkled, eyes sunken, voice shaky. "Emily, I've hit rock bottom. I don't have anyone left. I don't even have myself anymore. Please, I don't know where else to go." Emily looked at him, emotionless. "Do you remember when you left me in that hotel lobby? Did you wonder what I had left then?" "I'm sorry, I truly am." Emily sighed and paused before answering. "I'm not doing this for revenge. This is work. This is the consequence of your choices." The following week, Ryan's company was officially sued. He lost everything: his home, his cars, his accounts were frozen. His once promising reputation was shattered. Meanwhile, Emily continued to grow. The project flourished under her leadership. She didn't look back, because everything she needed was ahead of her now. 4 weeks had passed since Ryan's final meeting with the investment board. Emily had kept her word: no interference, no sympathy, no mercy. She allowed the process to unfold exactly as it should. During that time, Ryan failed to make any meaningful progress on the project. The follow-up reports were insufficient. Financial records were a mess, confusing, inconsistent, and lacking transparency. Liam's investment firm issued 3 formal warnings. On the 4th, they made their final move. On a Monday morning, the firm's legal department officially served a lawsuit against Ryan for major contractual breaches, financial mismanagement, and damages to the firm's reputation. The filing demanded full repayment of the investment, plus restitution for losses incurred. News of the lawsuit spread quickly through the tech investment community. Business journals reported the case, emphasizing that the man behind the legal action was CEO Liam Carter and the project director was Emily Blake, Ryan's former wife. Pressure crashed down on Ryan like a tidal wave. He received a court summons and his personal bank accounts were frozen. Potential partners severed all ties. His private lawyer backed out of the case, citing insufficient evidence to counter the claims. After the lawsuit, Ryan lost nearly everything. His company went bankrupt, his accounts were frozen, and his once respected name in the tech world was now a cautionary tale. He became a lonely man, living in a small rented apartment. No friends, no family, no one left to believe in him. One rainy day, he arrived unannounced at Liam's company. His face was gaunt, his hair unkempt, dark circles under his eyes. When he was led into the conference room, he found Emily reviewing a project report, calm and collected as if their past had never existed. "Emily," his voice trembled. "I know I don't deserve to ask for anything, but I'm sorry. I was a fool. I let go of the only person who ever truly loved me." Emily set her pen down and looked at him, silent for a long moment before speaking. "Ryan, this isn't about love anymore. This is about responsibility." "I know. But if you wanted to, you could drop the lawsuit. If you could just forgive me, I swear I'll start over." She shook her head gently. "You don't understand. Forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. I forgave you a long time ago, on the day you left me. I forgave you in my heart so I could move on. But what you're facing now isn't because of me. It's because of you." Ryan looked down, unable to speak. He had hoped for redemption. But the truth was, time had passed, and the woman before him was no longer the Emily he once knew. At last, the truth settled in. No one could save him now, except the very woman he had once thrown away. 1 year had passed since Ryan's official bankruptcy. He had faded completely from the spotlight. No one mentioned his name at conferences, in news articles, or on tech forums. The name that once drew admiration was now just a distant memory. Emily, however, had become a quiet symbol of strength and rebirth. Her story circulated in startup circles as proof of extraordinary resilience, not because she survived heartbreak, but because she refused to let it define her. She continued leading the healthcare project as executive director. Under her leadership, it exceeded all expectations and brought real lasting benefits to the community. But more than that, she had reclaimed herself. Emily and Liam now lived together in a house by the sea where each morning came with the sound of waves, and each evening closed with the sun dipping beneath the horizon. They didn't need many words. The peace between them was enough. Liam was always there, not loud, not forceful, just steady. One chilly October afternoon, as the leaves turned and the sky softened, Liam invited Emily for a walk on the beach behind their home. They walked barefoot on the sand, the ocean breeze ruffling their hair and the last rays of sun warming their skin. "You know," Liam said, still looking out at the water, "every day with you feels like a gift, not because of who you are, but because you've kept such a beautiful heart after everything." Emily turned to him, smiling. "Are you trying to say something, Mr. Carter?" she teased. Liam stopped walking and faced her. From his coat pocket, he pulled out a small navy velvet box. Dropping to one knee in the sand, he opened it to reveal a simple yet elegant ring. A soft violet sapphire shimmered under the setting sun, as delicate and deep as the woman before him. "Emily Blake," he said softly. "You stood up from the lowest point of your life. You are strong, kind, and you make me want to be a better man every single day. Will you let me walk the rest of this life with you?" Emily said nothing. She bent down, threw her arms around him. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but this time they were tears of joy. "Yes," she whispered, "I will." A few months later, as spring turned softly into autumn, church bells rang gently across the crisp autumn afternoon. Emily stood in front of a mirror in the bridal room, wearing a pure white gown. Sunlight poured in through the window, lighting up her serene, radiant face. There was no sadness in her eyes anymore, only peace and pride. Liam knocked and peeked in. "I'm not supposed to see the bride before the ceremony, you know," she teased, smiling. He stepped inside, took her hand. "I still can't believe you're real. Not because of how beautiful you are, but because of how strong you've become." Emily looked at him, her eyes welling slightly. "If it weren't for you, I don't know if I'd be here." "You're the one who saved yourself," Liam said. "I was just walking beside you." The ceremony was intimate and deeply moving. Nothing extravagant, but every look, every smile was genuine. When the pastor asked, "Emily, do you take Liam to be your husband?" she didn't hesitate. "I do, with all my heart." Later, during the reception, Emily stood alone for a moment, gazing out at the blooming garden. Softly to herself, she whispered, "Thank you for leaving me, Ryan. Because of that, I found myself." Far across the city, in a dim apartment with peeling paint and no warmth, Ryan sat alone, watching the wedding photos that had gone viral. He closed his eyes, and for the first time in years, he wept. Thank you for staying with Emily until the very end. Her journey reminds us that sometimes being broken is the first step to becoming whole again. Have you ever been underestimated, only to rise stronger than ever? We'd love to hear your story. Share it with us in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, so you never miss another tale of strength and second chances. Until next time, take care, and remember, your worth was never measured by anyone else's opinion.